it's at. I even remember to hit the record button on my own this time. Hello, everybody. All one of you currently, which would be Punchy. Hi, Punchy. Tonight is episode 15 after a solid, what? Has it been 2 weeks or 1 week? It's been 1 week, right? A week off?
No clue.
Yeah, we had a week off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So 2 weeks, I guess.
I don't know anymore.
I don't have a good sense of time.
Yeah, it's perfectly acceptable. Alright, well, we had a week off due to my former internet service provider, who still thinks they're my internet service provider, being shitty. And now we're on fiber, so crystal clear. Even fixed the camera so the colors are right and I look like me instead of a ghost.
Yay!
So, tonight, Whiskey Company has successfully dived into the dove into. They're in hell.
Dovin. It's Dovin.
Dovin
What?
Dovin into hell.
Open car?
What's that? Dovahkiin. Anyway, they're in hell. And the map that you see before you on the screen was hastily put together while crying 3 days ago. And it's just a large scale map. You see ruins dotted about. I'll get into all of that. But Lizeth has taken them into what is effectively the surface level of hell. They can see demons below them, toiling away at the bubbling pools of magma. And they see the Brass City on the horizon. And that's where we left everybody after leaving the Astral Sea. Wolfman, the source fails. Screw it, you're in hell, you get it. Yep, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Alright, so go ahead and put Kevin Macleod to the stop there. Anybody got anything that they want to do beforehand? And we've already touched on the scrolls. Don't mention it. I'm embarrassed.
I think I'm all good.
All right. Dick.
Nope.
Hey,
I do have a question.
I may have an answer.
How scary are you going to make this? Because I have to try to go to sleep whenever we're done.
Well, that all depends on you.
This is like the thing that's the scariest to me. Like I just hope I can sleep afterwards.
Okay. I make no promises. Let's see. Good.
Just a reminder that everyone has antipathy on them for demons.
Yes. You are antipathized for demoness. Whatever that. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
So, welcome to hell. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Bunny will not be joining us tonight. He had a last-minute family obligation that he had to attend to. So, in the meantime, I will step in as needed to play his character because apparently I do his voice well.
You do. I love it.
Alright. So, with that, introductions, all of that out of the way, let's dive right in. As the portal snaps closed behind you, you see on the horizon the Brass City. It is out of place in this barren wasteland of blasted rock and sulfurous smoke. Below you, you see pools of lava in varying colors and states of cooling. You see different ruins dotted about the landscape, like full chunks of places, both from the worlds you're familiar with and those that you're not, have been pulled into hell and come to rest on this plateau of sorts. All around you see the glow of hot magma Thank you for the tip, Punchy. Appreciate that. All around you, you see the glow of hot, burning lava, and you can see small dots moving across the landscape. It appears that your passing has been noticed. Off to your port bow, you've seen the Brass City as it's been described. The only thing marring its majesticness. Majesticism? Anyway, you get it. It's majestic. The only thing marring it are two large black pinnacles that belch smoke into the atmosphere. Slightly off your starboard bow, several hundred meters ahead of you, you see a gaping pit in the ground. One edge is trimmed by some manner of golden structure, and farther beyond that, almost to the edge of the plateau, on the very northern end, or as much as you can surmise the northern end, is another smaller city that looks to be almost entirely in ruin. There are towers of rock dotted about in this place that ascend far beyond your field of vision up into black nothingness. You're at the edge of the plateau. What do you do?
Question my
All
way
right,
through it.
Lezeth.
Like
All
start.
right, Lezeth. Let's find you a man. Where should we start looking?
That's the thing. She kind of shrugs. I never thought I'd get this far. He's here somewhere. I just don't know where.
Do you know any way we could, identify him? Do you know anything else about this place?
The Brass City is dangerous, even for someone like me, though in olden times, surface traders did come here to trade goods and slaves. Interesting captures, but I don't know much beyond that, and I don't know exactly what is required to get into the city, let alone pass safely.
Well, that's comforting.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well,
do you have anything that belonged to him before? It might help with tracking him down.
I have our wedding rings.
Can I see him?
She clutches a pouch on her belt for a moment and then pulls it free and hands it to you. Don't lose those.
I won't, I promise. And she kind of just opens the pouch and puts whatever is in the pouch, the rings, in her hands.
Mm-hmm. So one is a thin band of yellow gold that has a single square cut diamond in it, small. The other is what appears to be a platinum band that is unadorned.
Okay, so would I be correct in assuming the platinum one is his?
It is noticeably larger. So yeah, you could probably guess that that's his.
Okay. And then out of character, do we know, like, what he is? Is he, like, a human?
Last as much as you can surmise from the story that you were told by the Undead King Ormesk and by Lizeth herself, at the time when he descended into hell, he was human.
Okay, so, and this may or may not work. I just want to ask you. My favorite enemy is human. And so it's supposed to help me track down my favorite enemy. If he's human still, will I be able to use any of that to help?
Possibly. Provided he's still human.
Yeah. Which I don't know, but I'm just assuming that he is until I have reason to not believe that.
So, with your favorite enemy human, does that, like, if you send out a hunter's pulse or whatever the fuck it is your class does that, like, highlight them all on your mini map, so to speak?
It says that I have advantage on wisdom survival checks to track your favorite enemies, as well as intelligence checks to recall information about them. I
Okay.
don't really know what that means.
Yeah, I mean, so basically, it essentially gives you advantage on like mundane, or well, I guess normally mundane tracking checks. If you have a spell that involves like a survival check to track your favorite enemy, give advantage on that too.
Right.
Okay.
I could try scrying, but I
Oh,
don't
there's
know
a
if
whole
dead
table
person
involved
counts
into
as a
that.
creature.
Well, he was alive when he descended.
Oh, okay.
So, you're not entirely sure, but I'd have to pull the table up on that. The scrying, because
a
that's a
possession
whole
or
thing.
garment gives him a -4 modifier, and second-hand knowledge gives him a +5. So he basically gets a +1 on his save. But apart from that, that's the only table, I think.
Okay. So, to scry on Mormesk would be a +1. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
His save against it, if he is saving against random scrying on him, which presumably he would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If he knows we're casting the spell, and I doubt he would, he can fail the saving throw voluntarily. But otherwise, he gets wisdom save.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I'll try that. I'll try to scry on Mormesk, using the ring as a focus to.
All right. Go ahead and give me that roll then.
Well, it's his roll.
Yeah, I'm making it your roll.
All right then.
Well, we don't know what his wisdom save mod is. Yeah. You can roll the d20, I guess.
I
I'll
want
just
you to
roll a
roll with your
D20.
spell casting modifier. Like, you
Oh.
legit have to cast the
Oh,
spell.
okay.
There is shit at play that you don't see.
Gotcha. Okay. Just spellcasting modifier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And your proficiency, I would assume it's you being an oracle and
okay.
all, you'd be proficient in that.
Yeah. Don't know why I have advantage there. So +5, so 21.
21. So you settle in with the ring. You have it clasped in your hands. You get into your meditative position, and your mind's eye leaves your body. And you scream towards the brass city. And your mind's eye almost gets there, then takes a hard right and heads for the pit. But before you can get there, out of nowhere, a wall of ethereal fire erupts in front of you. Your mind's eye slams into it and immediately comes right back to your body. And you're going to take 10 points of psychic damage from that collision.
Oh, that was worse than the time I talked to Embrick's friend.
Lady Milena.
Mm-hmm.
Well, seems like he's maybe in the pit. That or the pit sucked in my magic while I was trying to scry on the city. It's tough to say, really.
What happened when you when you tried to describe.
Vic, as you
Well, it was-
look at Iran, you see that there is a faint tracery of a burn on his forehead, right above the bridge of his nose, in between his eyebrows.
Hey, Iran, and I just like point, between this is where the mark is. Like, looks like you got burned or something there.
Oron just trails off and does anyone have a mirror? Please say someone has a mirror.
I assume
Oron
there's
goes
a mirror
down
in my
into his
backpack.
possessions and gets a very nice mirror. God damn it. Whoever put up that barrier, I am going to rip them apart.
How dare they blemish your perfect face? I say sarcastically.
Thank you for agreeing.
Sure, buddy. Sure.
Yeah, so I explain, well, I was kind of going towards the Emerald City, or the Brass City, I think, but then the pit caught my attention or something, and just got sucked straight into a wall of fire, and that was not pleasant. So yeah, I have no idea whether it's the city or the pit.
So at this point, Captain Crystal calls out from the helm, "Do we have a heading, or are we just going to drift into the open pit of doom?"
Let's drift away from the open pit of doom for now.
Yeah, perhaps we can learn more at the city. Not that I'm assuming anyone will want to talk to us, but
Right.
Hey, wasn't that evil god tossed into a pit of some sort? Is this that same pit?
Who are you asking?
Lizeth and
Uh,
everyone in.
so Lizeth will go, no, different pit. That was Tartarus. This is hell.
Okay, that's good.
A lot of people think
Any
it's
idea
the
what this
same.
pit is?
yeah. Vic just nods, pretending he understands.
Tartarus is basically super hell.
Oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I always thought Tartarus was a pit in hell, but that makes a different kind of.
Trying to keep track of time in my head, because there's a certain amount of time that you guys need to make the Sabaton move across the map. So I'm listening and also calculating time, so bear with me if I trail off and space out.
Well, scrying has failed. I could try contacting another plane, but I don't know who I would contact.
Vic just shrugs. I don't know. I think that the number of people I know from other planes is basically like, well, I guess you.
Currently it's everyone, but
Well, I mean, from planes other than mine.
I mean, I've made a lot of friends on that station.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yes, you did.
Vic just doesn't acknowledge.
Yes, you did. Special friends with no squares. Anyway.
No trapezoids. What else could we do? I mean, we could go into the Brass City without any kind of plan, but that seems like a terrible idea.
I mean, at the least, we can get closer and try and scope it out.
Yeah, let's go poke the demons just to see what happens.
Like a great idea.
Phenomenal idea.
Ooh,
Not
just
what I
start
suggested,
pulling
for
up some
sure.
stat blocks.
I don't know. I feel better when I'm not on this thing and I can put my feet on the ground and just kind of get a better sense of what's going on around me.
Do you have hoof shoes?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
Just glad that we cleared that up.
I'm gonna
They're
cast
really
Mage
pretty,
Armor,
too.
by the way, since we're down here.
Okay. Alright. So, over time, Crystal has brought the vessel about to port, and you guys have been cruising along over the ruins. You see buildings reminiscent of what you saw when you guys killed Zombie Hitler.
Wait, what?
That was a good time,
It
right?
was a good time.
My first adventure.
Yep.
I had yet to learn how crazy you guys are.
So you see buildings reminiscent of that style of architecture, but you also see buildings that are more familiar to you. The rather gothic-looking stone construction, just what you would see typically from your homeland and time period, intermixed. Very odd that all of this refuse of other planes would be scattered here as well. But this isn't even the strangest thing you've seen this week, so you guys just kind of go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Do we see any, like, well, I don't want to say people, but just like any living things?
Oh, you see all manner of things scuttling about on the desolate surface of this place.
Do we see any particular, can we make any particular, like, figures out from, by the city?
By the city?
Well, in the city, in its direct
No,
vicinity.
you're still very much too far away from the city to see that.
Well, let's go to the city, I guess.
Okay.
So I'm tempted to go to the ruined city because less likely to be demons.
Alright.
Is it though? Maybe it's more likely.
Or maybe that's where all the bad demons hang out.
That's true.
So,
The demons that are too cool for school.
time passes and you begin to grow closer to the city. Now, I left this grid on 5 feet, but it's actually not. So, just consider these miles. For now. Crystal, being the intelligent tactician that she is, does not make a beeline straight for the city. She circles around.
That's smart, Crystal.
Eventually,
You captaining our ship.
eventually coming.
Oh, wait.
See, where are we?
Before we get too close,
Uh-huh.
is it too late for me to cast Pass Without a Trace on the ship?
How long does it take to cast?
Let me see.
I think it's just like one action, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just an action, but let me double check. Although I feel like you would know.
Yeah, I just checked. It's like I was pretty sure it was an action, then I checked.
Okay. I suppose you can.
Then I do that at 3rd level.
Okay. So you've passed without a trace to the ship. Crystal is making no attempts to mask the approach because she's received no order to do so.
Well, maybe
Just-
they're not very smart demons. Well, I don't know. Maybe
I mean, you
they
could tell her
can.
right now.
Or I'll tell her, hey, I'm trying to camouflage the ship. Let's be sneaky about this.
Alright. Lucky you said that
On
when
the
you did.
road.
She begins to issue orders, and the gremlins scuttle about the deck, dousing lamps and silencing rigging and making the ship as quiet and dark as possible. For anyone looking directly up, you wouldn't know the ship was there.
Yeah.
But silhouetted against the glow of the magma surrounding this plateau that you're on, you are moderately visible from a distance.
Speaking of which, what is the sky down here? Is it gray and
It's completely black, long past your range of vision.
okay?
The pillars that jut up from the surface of this plateau disappear into that darkness.
Gotcha.
All right. So Crystal comes about to starboard and brings you within 10 miles of the city. And rolls begin to happen.
Oh my. Whatever
That's-
that means.
That's not good for you.
Oh. Oh no.
You're spotted. And you know you're spotted. Because what did we say the AC for the ship was?
Good question.
I have no idea.
No clue.
I will find it. There we go.
That's what's missing. Sound.
What was our ship's type?
Trader.
The tradesman?
Tradesman, yes.
Yeah. It has an AC of 17.
An AC of 17, which I think I
We
bumped
got
up
the-
to 20.
Oh,
Yeah, we got the sky iron plating, I think.
And it has a DR of like 22 or something like that.
20. Sorry, that's damage threshold is 20.
Damage threshold is 20.
Yeah.
Alright, well, you're going to get hit. Because when you close in within 10 miles, the sharp-eyed lookouts on the towers of the city of Brass sound an enormous war horn, and its bass tone rolls across the plains below so violently that you see rocks below you crack and crumble under the force. And immediately following the war horn, 3 lances of fire shoot out from the city, directly impacting the side of the ship. Is it 6? Yeah.
At least it's fire resistant.
6 plus 12 plus D6. Alright. The impacts deal 6, 12, 18, 22, 28. They deal 28 damage directly to the hull as the 3 barbs pierce the hull itself. Thankfully, the fire is put out upon impact, just leaving the black, smoking, twisted iron harpoons in the side of the Sabaton. The fire damage is negated. That's the trailing 4d6. What are you gonna do? You have very little time to decide.
Yeah, we should.
Let's run.
All right.
Do we see, any visible figures of like who's firing at us?
At this distance, you can see small figures, no more than an inch tall, in your field of view. They're backlit by fire, and you can see some manner of mechanical thing being brought to bear across from where the original shot came from. It's reasonable to assume that it's another big gun.
Mm.
Yeah, let's run and try to sneak in on foot.
Yeah, are like you said those fire lances, whatever. Are they like attached to our ship, or do they just poke a hole in
I'll just punch 3 holes in it.
it? Okay.
Alright, so you give the order and Crystal kicks in the magical afterburners, so to speak, and dashes with the ship. 3, 4, 6. Is that right? Yeah. Taking you seemingly out of range of the guns.
So, how's that ruin sitting sounding now?
The what? Oh,
The
the
ruin
ruined
How's that
city.
ruin city? Let's go check that out. One of the
Probably.
few things that are better with less artillery.
I don't know. I just feel like we'd find more information at the city.
Well, that's what we got legs for. Or in my case, a broom.
Yeah. So, like, in terms of distance, how far is it, like, between these two?
Between the cities?
Yeah.
As the crow flies, or by the road?
I guess by the road, because I don't know what the surface is like off the roads.
Let's see, 15 miles, 55 miles,
I don't know.
yeah, 65 miles, give or take.
How long would that take to travel, like, on foot?
On foot, 3, maybe 4 days.
Okay.
Well, I say
Yeah.
we check out the ruined city and then park the ship somewhere over here or something, out of range of them and hopefully hidden.
Why don't you give me a perception check for when you were flying over the roads?
All right.
Anyone? Or just wrong.
Oh,
Anyone, I hope.
oh right, I
Ron is
forgot.
not the most perceptive.
I've got the highest perception. I just have to find my character sheet. All right. That out.
What was that?
Nothing.
Oh, yeah, I see just windows popping up all over the place on your screen.
What did I say? Perception?
Yes.
Oof. That didn't help. It didn't help at all. Comet stands up and says, let me see what I can see. And he stands up and turns around and runs into the mast. I see wood. Vic, you have sharp enough sight to make out individual things. Faye and Iran, you see what appears to be people moving in formation. You can't make out really a lot about them. Vic, what you see is tall, red-skinned figures, some with horns, some without, all very muscular, all dressed in various manner of gilded armor or robes, all moving in rank and file formation up and down this road. And most of them are led by what you could surmise to be a demon of some kind. They're not all led by the same type of demon. But that's what you see when you fly over the roadways. But you can also see from your vantage point that most of them are coming and going from this junction in the road right here. Very few move along to the ruined city. And even then, they don't approach to within the sight of its walls.
Apparently I was muted. Does that seem safe? I'm sure there's nothing bad there.
I mean, on the one hand, it might be dangerous. On the other hand, if demons don't like it, it might be a good thing.
Unless there's even scarier demons there, and that's why they don't go.
Maybe.
I mean, I've got danger instincts, but I wouldn't be able to tell until we get pretty close to it. So I don't think
I
that's
can-
going to help us from this far away.
I can send an arcane eye into the city and
That
try
would
to
make-
explore around a bit.
That would make me feel better.
Let's get close-ish, no closer than the demons are going, and then I'll do an arcane eye.
Well, okay,
I assume-
define
I
that
assume
for
I-
me.
I will post the spell.
No, I don't mean the spell. I mean define where you're going.
Like,
Oh.
are you saying like over here somewhere? I assume not over the road.
Yeah, no closer. Like the demons are coming to here, so right?
Uh-huh.
Pretty much? Yeah, so let's go like over here-ish.
All right, fair enough. All right, Crystal brings the ship about. Damn it. Come on, roll 20, work with me. There, out again, and moves up. Now, what's the max range on your arcane eye?
Unlimited range, but it moves at 60 feet per round, I believe.
60 feet per
30.
round.
Oh, 30 feet per
30
round.
feet per round.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna be like, you're 5 miles away from everything. It's a real geographical oddity.
Okay. Let's see.
And
So
it'll
100.
last an hour.
Yeah. So 600 times 30 feet.
Can you get there in an hour?
Yeah. So 600 times 30 feet is 18,000.
So
Divided
yeah,
by 5,280.
not
Yeah,
quite.
Yeah. So basically, it needs to be like three miles away.
So you guys want to get closer and try and look, or what?
So, go ahead and give me another perception check. Where you're at.
20. That's a reliable tell.
Okay. I have to remember that I've got this window up again. Dude, I'm just gonna close his character sheet and he's staying on the ship. Fuck this. I'm gonna dick around and get his character killed. Alright, 20 with reliable talent. So you guys see the ruin that you're approaching has a serviceable docking point and a way down. It's directly in front of you, just underneath the bowsprit. You could conceivably dock and go overland if you wished.
Where is this?
Right in front of the ship.
Okay.
Right?
Ah.
Yeah.
Ah, I see. That's what that is.
You know what? I'm feeling brave. Let's just go for it. I got a moment of bravery. I can't let this pass. We should act right now.
All
Are
right.
we any sneakier on foot than in the ship, though? Honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, I am, but
Yeah.
or on
You
just
really
passengers
are.
sparkles.
I have a minimum 24.
All right, sure. Let's do it then.
All right. So Crystal brings the ship into dock. Let's see if I can do this like cool. Yep, there we go. So now you've landed, moored on this spire ruin type structure. And you descend the tower. As you get lower, the scent of brimstone gets stronger, and the heat is so intense coming off of this rock that you're about to set foot on that you can see it. It looks hot, it smells hot, it is hot, it feels hot. Everything about this place is hot. The air tastes like chili peppers. I can't convey exactly how freaking hot this place is, and you all are dressed in your regular gear, and you've been here for a while, and that means I need constitution saves from all of you. Ooh, bringing it hot.
20.
Yeah, 24.
Fueling my.
Oh,
Oh,
another
yeah.
Fire's fueling me. Oh, another.
Damn.
Yeah.
No, you're okay so far.
Okay.
You're okay so far. You're sweating profusely. Like, you unbutton the top button on your shirt, kind of like I've got mine here, because damn it, it's hot. And yeah, so your boots on the ground, literally, and there's about 7 miles between you and the front gate of this ruined city. Which, if you put 2 and 2 together, you were able to get closer to this city than you were the Brass City with the ship without attracting attention.
Speaking of which, as we start to get closer to it, I want to help Aron out and cast Pass Without a Trace on him.
Okay.
I just think that he's a little too flashy.
Just a little too flashy? Alright.
Gonna
So you
get
can cast Pass Without a Trace on him. That's fine.
Oron grumbles about the lack of sparkles.
Oh no, you still sparkle, except they're more like puffs of smoke instead.
So it makes sense.
Colorful smoke?
Yeah, it's like pink
I'll take
and
it.
lime green and purple.
I did the best I could do, Aron. But there's some things I can't help.
So flashy. Alright. So, the greatest survivalist among you, make a survival check along with a stealth roll. Everybody else give me a stealth roll.
Ooh, nat 20.
Damn!
34.
To counter all those nat ones I was rolling for Comet.
Ooh. at
You
least
get
it's
to
a
add
plus
10 to
10.
that, so
Yeah.
18.
18. Yeah. For Ron.
24.
Nice.
Lucky you didn't have
Oh,
disadvantage.
actually,
Yes.
I mean,
Can't you
actually, that-
pass without
yeah,
trace on
yeah.
a group?
yeah, it's also it's a self-only spell, but it masks you and your companions. So
Oh.
each creature you choose within 30 feet of you is a plus 10 to stealth.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So that means that's a 44 for Vic.
34 for
Fuck
Faye.
you, overpowered bastard. Alright, so China actually cast the spell, but Vic is actively like Batmaning his cape and blocking everyone from view. So you're good. Now that survival roll, please.
What's combat survival like?
Comet's on the ship. Comet's survival is
Oh,
null and
right.
void. So 22. You navigate the blackened, broken rock, and everything's going along pretty okay. It seems like, you got a good line of sight. Everything should be fine. And Ron and Vic kind of get out ahead of you a little bit, and you see it just before it happens, and you reach out with both hands and grab each of them by the collar and pull them back, because each of them was about to step out into a chasm. And you kind of look over the edge, and may not be as deep as the pit, but it's deep enough to kill you if you fall down it.
To be fair, Oran was 100% on his broom because he's not walking on this black ground.
Okay.
Vic will probably be riding Reed, but either way.
Okay,
They
so
will stop.
Aran floats over the chasm, cause fuck you guys, and Faye grabs Reed by the tail and Vic by the collar and stops them.
You guys are
Once he
gonna leave
notices
me
this is
behind.
over the ground, is like, oh, and then backs.
Such a dick.
Up.
Perception checks, please. 16 and 20. Alright, so in the heat haze, Aran and Faye don't really see anything super obvious. It would be a good way to get across, but Vic, you see a section of the chasm that narrows considerably to about a 10-foot jump across.
Don't we still have that flying carpet?
Look, I don't know, do you? Just
I
sell it
assume
for
it's in our
booze
bag.
money? Yeah, probably. You probably still have it. Okay. So you ferry each other across on the flying carpet. There you go.
Clearly, we just have too many magic items.
You really do. You really do have too many magic items.
Mhm.
Which I have nobody to blame for that but myself, but whatever. It's time for you to lose the bag of holding again. Anyway, so you guys make it across the chasm. You're within about 3 miles now, and you can make out this. The city is an amalgamation of different cultures from what you can see. You see sculpted stone that's indicative of the dwarven culture. You see terracotta roofs in kind of pointed peak with heavy slopes, which is indicative of human settling. You see swooping black architecture, which is really reminiscent of Drow. It seems like all kinds have taken up residence here. It's very, very counter to what you would expect the Brass City to be. Ornate and garish and just overstated in every way, kind of like Iran's wardrobe. This is very humble, but there is even at this distance, there is a thrum of power to it. Something that you can't quite put your finger on, but is definitely here.
Is Lyseth with us right now?
I was wondering when you were going to ask. You look around and she is not with you. She
Y'all
was with
really-
you. She was with you when you started out.
Where
But
did
she's
Lyseth go? Anybody notice when she wasn't with us anymore?
When's the last time we saw her?
about a mile away from the ship. She's been very withdrawn
she-
since you got to hell. Hasn't said much.
Don't tell me she got lost again.
You want to scrying her?
From high above you, you hear the call of a raven and the flutter of wings.
Get down from there. You're conspicuous.
Roll a dex save.
Okay then.
A big pile of bird shit lands on your nose.
Prestidigitation.
Just you prestidigitation it away.
Or
Lyseth
on
does
her
not
phone,
land.
never-
Vic just gives Lyseth a thumbs up. He's like, you do you. All right.
All right.
Let's carry on then.
So we haven't heard anything about this city, have we?
You have not.
Okay.
To everything that you guys know, except for maybe Iran, and he'll give me a history or a religion in a minute to see if he can put two and two together. But from what you and Faye know, this place is beyond your grasp of understanding. But Iran, go ahead and roll one of those checks for me.
Nice.
History 24. So, in your planar studies, one of the few classes that you were able to actually remain awake for in the Sealy Court, you faintly remember hearing that in the place where the Brass City was, the opening of the pit, the entire area as a whole is known as the Plateau of Perdition. It's the immediate landing pad for souls, if you will. And some of those souls eventually escaped their initial capture or escaped from the Brass City itself before being sent further into the Hells, and were able to, in secret, gather up pieces of their former cultures, eventually culminating in a bastion city, guarded by the last vestiges of pure magic left to the tormented souls. And the city was called Tanagra.
And it's filled with people who went to hell. Well, it's gonna be fun.
I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah. It's just like a slightly less hot Australia.
Oh my gosh.
Prison colony. Boy. Okay.
So you have this information, Oron. What do you do with it?
I share it with everyone.
Okay, now everybody knows.
Interesting. So they're essentially the escapees of the Brass City.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Maybe
Pretty
they'd want to
much.
help us then.
yeah, it's entirely possible Robert Mormesk is there.
That would be reasonable.
I mean, our luck's never been that good, but you know,
No, it hasn't.
something being the first we actually look for it.
He's probably in like the deepest layer of hell, to be fair. So it's a start.
Yeah, at the very least, we might figure out what the hell's up with that pit.
Just to be clear, we're not bringing a bunch of damned souls back to the material plane.
But what
Y-
if they need our help?
Then they should have thought of that while they were alive.
They're in hell. I guarantee you they need your help.
What if
Whether
they're
they
good
deserve it is a
people?
separate question.
They might have changed their ways.
I don't think hell's known for making people better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, hell is not known for making exceptions.
I just can't make any promises. We'll just have to see.
Dick, I'm looking at you. No orphan.
For anybody that hasn't watched the show on YouTube or watched the streams, Vic has a habit of collecting orphans, and so does Demaya. So the problem's been lessened by Demaya's absence for quite some time, but Vic still manages to pick up an orphan in almost every city he goes to.
That's not true.
That is true.
I picked up exactly one orphan.
And it's one that tried to steal from
You've
me.
picked up exactly 2 orphans out of 4 cities that you've been in. You're 0-2, dude.
50% orphan removal rate.
I mean, they're orphans. I'm an orphan.
I mean, you're still like 2 behind Demaya on orphan collection, but still. Anyway. All right, so you're
All right.
you're within about 3 miles of the city. Give me another Constitution save. Thank God I didn't say Fortitude. I almost said Fortitude.
Rip.
Ooh.
11. Ron gets an 18. Faye gets a 19.
Actually, you guys have advantage.
Oh.
So you got 13, which still is not great.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it is a save of diminishing returns. So at 13, you're still okay for now. Not much, but you're okay for now. And you guys have advantage because of the Heart of Baranoth, which you retrieved last session.
Yeah.
Or,
Hmm,
well,
yeah.
actually, which was given to you by a very creepy lady.
Oh, then that makes sense. I had something about advantage on Constitution rolls
Mhm.
on my character sheet, and I forgot where it came.
That's where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so you all are okay still for now.
Okay.
Are you going to continue your advance?
Yep. Unless we
Yes.
see something that says we should stop.
Hey,
Keep
survival
on
roll
keeping
to
on.
lead him in.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm. So, at this point, you guys are passing about, right? Yeah. And you're very near to the road. You've noticed that it's gotten hotter. And the smell of sulfur has gotten stronger. And you hear something and you can't quite put your finger on it, and you realize that you feel it more than you hear it, and Ron is floating behind you on his broom. And you turn around to see the ground below him glowing, and you say, "What?" And about that time, the ground below Oran erupts, and I need a dex save from Oran.
I'm great at those.
Ooh.
Oh,
Fair.
did okay.
You did all right. So you manage to avoid the fire flare that erupts from the ground. Your broom tail does not, however, and it is on fire, and you need to extinguish it quickly.
No.
Which
I'll
means
use,
you need to land.
I will land
Okay.
and use frostbite on it, I guess.
Okay. That's perfectly acceptable. That's a cantrip, right?
Yeah.
Alright, you put it out with frostbite. What do you call that? The wicker? The wicker is very singed. A couple of pieces are charred to a crisp. But the broom is still intact. And, seems to be okay. Near as you can tell.
Good enough.
Actually, you're the wizard. Give me an Arcana check.
Oh, okay.
Also, I guess nobody in the chat got my reference.
Which reference was that?
Oof.
The name of the city. Yeah, so the broom seems to be alright.
The Star Trek one.
It is. It is
Yeah.
the Star Trek one.
I haven't actually watched that episode, but I know because I've seen the reference to it.
It's a good one. It's a good episode. Alright, so yeah, the broom seems to be okay. Should be fine.
Cool. Lovely.
Alright, so you guys are now within about a half a mile and closing on the gates of Tanagra. You're actually getting up on the road now. Just closing in and until you say otherwise.
Yeah. Do we
want to
hand
go
anyone
through the gates or do we want to try and sneak in?
Honestly, given how well, I guess the other city did spot us, but we're much closer to this city than we were to the other one, and nobody's tried to kill us yet. So I say we try and go through the gates first, and if
All
we're
right.
turned away, then we might have to change our approach.
So you're within about 500 feet, and you guys can see from where you are that the shapes moving about the gates and the walls and out in front of the city itself are not demonic in nature. They seem to be various mixed races. They're moving in an orderly fashion as if they're on patrol, but there's very little real cohesion.
Okay. Like, are people like walking past us or anything? Do they seem to pay us any particular mind?
They don't appear to have spotted you at this distance yet. There's been no traffic on the road coming towards you in either direction, for that matter.
Do the people, like, leaving the gates, are they
The
heading
people
in
that
different
walk
directions?
out of the gates immediately turn to walk a circuit around the city. Some go left, some go right, but they all stay within about 100 feet of the walls.
Okay.
Maybe we should get up against a wall and then approach the city that way.
I mean, I feel like the patrols would definitely spot us if we did that. So
Go ahead and give me another stealth roll. And this one, still have your pass without a trace, I think. Does
Yeah,
it last for an hour?
yeah, it's an hour.
Alright. Yeah, you'd still have it.
24 because of reliable talent.
Okay, so
Or sorry,
21,
yeah, so that's actually 34 because of reliable talent.
21, 34, and 25.
Yeah.
Alright, so you're out in the open, but you're still a fair distance away. You have not been spotted yet. Oh, you need to think very carefully about how you're going to handle this situation.
Did you say that all the races we can see are mixed?
You see Dragonborn, you see dwarves, you see drow, you see humans, you even see a halfling or two.
Okay, cool.
Maybe a gnome here and there. More than a few gremlins. And you don't know how you feel about that. Of course, there are orcs and goblins, not to be confused with gremlins, but goblins. It seems like the city takes all comers.
Then maybe they'll be welcoming of us.
Yeah. If we're alive, that might throw a little wrench in the work.
Yeah. Do we see any obvious, or not obvious, I guess, entrances besides the gate?
Nothing that sticks out. It looks like this city is hemmed in with stacked stone walls. You could probably find an entrance if you looked hard enough, just from shoddy masonry work.
Okay.
But, yeah, no, nothing that sticks out, really. Not at the angle that you're approaching, anyway.
Well,
Why don't we just let one person? I'm sorry. Let one person go.
Excuse me.
And if they're cool with them, then the other two can come.
Sure. Who's best at running away?
Solid plan, actually.
Let's just do it. I'll just go say hi, and we'll see what happens.
And yeah, if you want, I can talk to them. So, well, what is our plan? If they ask, why are we here? What are we doing?
Just say we're looking for a friend. I think we
I
should
think
just
we
go
should
It's not
Well,
such
I
a
can't
solid
lie,
plan
so-
anymore.
Yeah,
Let's go with the truth.
Well, yeah, I was like, I feel like Iran shouldn't be the one we send out first.
Yeah,
No, that's a terrible idea.
yeah, it's a really terrible idea with a racial inability to lie
Yeah.
and also being a smartass. I don't think
Yeah.
that's who should lead the diplomatic relations of the party.
So I think
On the other hand, it's perfectly believable that I'm in hell.
I think the
mean-
people we leave behind are the people that are going to be the best at helping the other person if things go bad.
Yeah, I
I just want to
to
point out that Vic has a track record of stabbing Iran when left alone with him.
Oh,
This is
shit.
true.
I just want to point that
I
out.
mean, yeah, that's not why I'm volunteering to go ahead.
I vote Vic goes.
Ron gets the shit into the stick every time, even when you roll dice for chance.
Vic just narrows his eyes at Iran.
That's quite literally how he died.
Yep. And almost died last time.
It happens.
Well, we could just all go, and if shit completely goes to shit, I can teleport us.
I don't know. I feel like sending one person ahead is better.
You're probably right.
And then, I mean, if things go really, really bad, then we only lost one person.
I could send Craig
Vic-
5 ahead.
Damn it.
Five.
It
So,
would be horribly
okay.
dangerous, and he will probably not return alive, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
I think
So-
we're just trying to test if they'll be okay.
Okay, hold
with
on,
this.
hold on. So he gestures to Craig 5, right, on his shoulder, and you guys look, Craig 5 is actually transmorgified into a small roasted parrot. It's so hot here. And the small roasted parrot is balanced on Aron's shoulder.
Hey, Ron, is it supposed to look like that?
Oh, it's fine. At worst, I can get Craig 6.
Vic just face palms. He's like, "All right, guys, I'll go. Just don't be too far away, so that if shit starts to go down, there's some backup for me."
Yeah, totally. We got your back.
Mm-hmm.
Wink.
Vic just narrows his eyes at Ron and say,
All
I
right.
got your back, buddy. Just like you got mine. With a knife.
That's comforting.
Vic flips him off and starts walking.
All right. You begin to approach the city on foot, or no, on Reed, and alone. And as you get within about 150 feet or so,
Actually, can I just say, before I go ahead, I'm gonna just have Tiberius appear and stay with the group. So,
okay, Tiberius stays with
Eyes on us.
Tiberius stays with Aron and Faye. Perfectly fine. As you approach within about 150 feet of the nearest patrol, you're spotted. And a lesser sound of a clarion call goes up from the patrol. And immediately, the gates of the city roll open. There's a grinding stone on stone sound that kind of sets your teeth on edge. And from this gate stomps quite possibly the largest Goliath you've ever seen. He's different because not only is he larger, but he also has small tusks protruding from his lower jaw that kind of stick out above his upper lip. Make a history check.
Okay. History. 18.
18, alright. And behind him is a squad of motley soldiers, which is about the only way that you could describe them. Various races and cobbled together armor with different weapons each. But the half-giant stomping towards you seems to have his shit together. And you look at his tattoos, and you've seen them before. On another Goliath. One that you're very familiar with. They resemble the markings that mark Goroth's face and chest and back.
Did Goroth ever explain what they were?
He did in passing. Someone had asked him about him, and they were tribal markings. Markings only specifically given to his family.
Oh, okay. Does the Goliath greet me or say anything to me?
He's still a little ways away from you. You've got a second to kind of process this information as it hits your brain. And he gets to be within about 60 feet. And you see him raise one massive fist up. Immediately, the men following him stop. And he calls out to you. You ain't a demon. What is you?
I'm a halfling. As well, I've seen some halflings pass through the gate earlier, so I'm sure you've seen my kind before.
You don't smell right. Wait a minute. You still breathing?
I am. Wait. And And looking at his tattoos again, I was like, do you know someone named Goroth?
He stiffens like you slapped him. Say that name again.
Goroth Anunnaki. And I'm surprised I remembered his last name. I haven't seen it in ages.
Yeah, I knows him.
He's a good friend of ours.
He's the reason why I'm here.
Is that so?
Well, me sweet baby boy's still alive.
You're his father.
Yeah? What of it?
Nothing. I suppose I didn't really expect to meet Goroth's dad down here. Has Goroth spoken about his dad to us? I assume not.
Not a word. The only thing he said was that at one point before his tribe was decimated, he defeated the old chieftain to take over his place.
Ah, so his dad is the old chieftain.
Uh-huh. It's not how it works, Faye.
Okay.
Faye just wants to bring everyone back. Don't stab him in the eyes. I don't say that in character.
Okay.
It worked last time.
So he goes, so you know me, boy. How you know him? Did he take over your lands or something?
Not quite. He works with us.
What? Works with you? The short folk? Well, that's just insulting.
Not the short folk in general. Like he works for the organization I'm a part of.
Well, did somebody beat his ass and throw him out of the tribe?
About that. So just again to confirm what you said. You said so he earlier he had beaten the chieftain to become the leader, the leader of the tribe
Before his tribe was decimated.
Yeah.
He didn't give a whole lot of details on that fact.
Okay, I'll say. Well, I don't know all the details, but as I haven't met anyone else in his tribe.
What you do know, and I'll give you this because your history roll before, is that he was originally, before he was a caravan guard, he was a gladiator in the arenas.
Okay.
So I take it you fill this in to him, or
yeah. I'll avoid like the. Well, I don't know the gruesome details, but I'll try to soften the blow of his tribe potentially not being around anymore. But I'll tell him, it was probably some time ago. From what I know of him, he was a fighter in the arenas, and then he took a job to guard a caravan. That's where we met him.
So Goroth's father nods and well, it means the tribe was wiped out. Only reason a Goliath goes to the pits is because his family's gone.
I see. Sorry to hear that.
Was to be expected, I'd say. Well, anyway, What the fuck you bothering me for? I was working on something.
Sorry to get in your way. We're actually here on different business. We're looking for someone who's.
You keep saying we, and he kind of leans
yeah.
around to one side or there. He says, we! I only see one of you.
Well, they were a bit intimidated, as they rightly should have been. But they decided to hang back a bit. Obviously, I didn't just walk into hell alone on foot.
Vic with the
You wouldn't
backstabbing
be-
again.
You wouldn't be the first to walk into hell alone.
That's fair. Who's the last person who walked into hell alone?
But the last person to do it with any success was old Robert Mormesk.
Robert Mormesk, huh?
Yeah?
You wouldn't know where I might be able to find it, would you?
Oh yeah, I know where you'd find him. But I don't think you want to go.
And why is that?
Well, currently he's being fought over by the Lord of Terror and the King of Murder.
The Lord of Terror and the King of Murder. Well, they don't sound very pleasant. I'll be honest. But
Boy, you're real quick on the uptake, ain't you?
well, the thing is, where his wife's looking for him, she's pissed, and we don't want to get on their bad side.
Well, we can give you some details, I suppose. Gather your group. Bring 'em in.
Vic nods and kind of signal. Well, I guess he's going to telepathically tell Tiberius to tell the others it's safe to come forward.
Okay. So, Faye and Aran, you guys are watching this exchange between this exceedingly large individual and Vic. And after a couple of minutes, Tiberius kind of flaps over towards you and goes, "Hey, boss says to come on up."
Well, okay
Well,
then.
Let's go then.
I've never heard you talk before, Tiberius. I didn't know you could do that.
Really?
He's talked around you like 7 or 8 times.
I assume Faye's just not noticed. She's just zoned
Probably not.
Exactly. Phase 2
In and out of
to have
character.
noticed.
Oh, hey, Pen and Paper Capers just rated us with 9 viewers. Thanks, guys. Welcome to the show.
Oh.
Alright, so you guys gather everybody up. Kind of present yourselves to the father of Goroth, who you still haven't asked his name.
Yeah, I'll do it once the rest of the group's up here.
He's Daddy Goroth, obviously.
Or I guess
We
while
cannot call him that.
yeah, I guess while the group's catching up, I'll ask. So what should we call you? What's your name?
Name's Grogan. Grogan Anunnaki.
Vic, gives a slight bow. He's like, Vic Real Silver Shaper.
Well, welcome to Tanagra. And he spreads his arms out as he walks through the gates of the city. And the architecture, while crumbling and strange on the outside, is even more so on the inside. Let's give these notifications a second to pass on through. Thanks for the follows, guys. We appreciate every bit of it. So, while the architecture on the outside is crumbling and confusing, it is downright dizzying on the inside. Dwarven buildings are held up with drow architecture. Cogs from gnomish creations are holding up leaning walls of human homes. And inside of it all is a stone ring. It looks as though, at first, that it's just a common black stone from the plains. However, upon closer inspection, as you near, the pillars themselves seem to be made of obsidian, and in the center is a large shrine with a fire built in its center. And the power, the thrumming power that you felt from the outskirts of the city seems to be radiating from this structure. It washes over you in waves, and you feel it in your chest. Like, you can't see the energy washing over you, but it's like a percussion in your chest at regular intervals. He said, This is the heart of perdition. The road to redemption, if there is any for such souls like us. I've begun to doubt it personally.
What does that mean? Like, are you saying that you can use it to get out of here?
Well, maybe. That's what old Mormask always spouted off. The souls that were between good and evil. If they redeemed themselves here on the Perdition Plateau, they could maybe make their way somewhere else.
Okay. How would you redeem yourself, and where did you hear this from?
I just told you I heard it from Mormask. He's the one who set all this up. And fuck if I know how to make it work.
I was just trying to figure out so I could help. I just wanted to be the helper.
Oh. Sorry.
She's a very helpful sort.
Tell you what, when we find Mormask and his wife is done with him, we'll try to ask him.
Well.
Oh, okay. Is that the guy we're looking for?
Yes.
Okay, I remember his first name, but not his last name.
Well, good luck getting to him. You got two of the prime evils fighting over him.
Sorry. Out of character. Would you say they were?
Prime evils.
No, they're. What do you?
Lord of Terror and a King of Murder.
Okay.
Their mothers had terrible naming sense.
They named themselves. So what do you know about old Mormask? How he came to be?
By the way, looking around, like, do we see Lizeth at all?
No, you don't see Lizeth as such, no. You can make a perception check, though. I'll give you that.
I'm gonna look for 20. It's a reliable talent.
Okay, anybody else?
I will.
I'm not gonna
I'm
lie.
not on looking terms with her.
26, alright. And I'm not gonna lie, Grogan's voice tears my fucking throat up.
Yeah. Seems like it.
Alright. So, Vic, you're not able to pick her out. But Faye, perched atop one of the stones, you have to do a double take to pick her out because she's the same color as the obsidian. But perched as a raven atop one of the obsidian spires towards the outskirts of the city where you are, Lizeth is there. and apparently listening.
I wink at her so that she knows that I saw her.
She kind of does a cock of the head to acknowledge you.
Sorry. Grogan asked what we know about him.
And how he came to be here in hell.
Well, funny thing. Apparently, he came here looking for his wife, and now his wife made us come here looking for him.
Yeah, that's not wrong. That's not wrong. But do you know how he managed to get here?
Not really. Do we?
No, you don't.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so. Not really. No, we all his wife told us was that apparently, or actually, I guess, yeah, one of his descendants, spirits, actually told us this. But yeah, apparently he came here looking for his wife. We didn't really find out the details on that.
Well, up until, well, let's call it recently in the grand scheme of things, Robert was the only one who was ever mortal to come down here. After the Millennium War, they forged a bell out of solid gold, inscribed with all manner of celestial sayings and hoodoo. And he dove into the rift that was created by the primeval when it was sent to Tartarus. Managed to land on this plane, and when he got here, he tricked Asmodeus into counting chickpeas, I think it was, the grains of rice or some such shit. You know who Asmodeus is, don't you?
I've heard of him.
Anyway, when he was down, he took that holy bell and the smith's hammer and rang it in his ears so hard that his fucking head exploded.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, Asmodeus' head exploded?
When he was done with that, he walked right into the gates of the Brass City. Unfortunately, he didn't find what he was looking for there. Along the way, he lost the bell and was forced back out onto the plateau. Hey, we got another raid there from Torpid Network. Thanks for the raid, man. Anyway, back into the voice. He was forced back out into the plateau, and he went into hiding. After that, he started building this. And he holds out a hand to gesture towards the shrine at the center. Says, this here is powered by our souls. Keeps it running, keeps the demons away. But it's not perfect. And without him, it's getting weaker.
See. Do you know? Well, you said he's in the pit.
He's either in the pit or he's being fought over in the Brass City somewhere. Probably in the arenas. Maybe being held as a prize.
Do
See?
you know?
What? What?
Oh, do you know of a secret way to get into the city?
We we flew by it, or our ship flew by it, and then They shot at us.
Well, see, typically when people come down here, they land first and approach on foot. It's impolite, see, to fly in all ballsy like. See, there may be demons up here on the top level, but in recent years they've started doing trade topside. And I don't know what's happened really recently in the last week or so, but there's been some cause for celebration over there.
Interesting. I mean, they didn't technically see us. Maybe we can just kind of blend in.
It's possible. But you gotta risk approaching on the road or cutting through the Badlands. Either way's got its, shall we say, downsides. But if any of the patrols catch you, or some random ass scav demon out in the waste catches you, you can bet that your sorry behinds will end up on the slave blocks.
And would that put us any nearer to our mark?
It puts you in spell chains is what it puts you in.
Doesn't really
Not
seem
ideal.
ideal.
You could say that. See, that's what happened to Robert. Insisted on leading patrols himself, you see. He went out to gather supplies. And his patrol didn't make it back. We found him later, see. All his boys was caught up in the pieces on the side of the road, but no sign of him. Anyway. Word come down later from the city. They cut him. And terror and murder, you see. He's been the only one still in power from when he first come down here. They's fighting over him. He's the grand prize. Hate to think what they're gonna do with him once they actually settle up on who's gonna get him. Evil they may be, they play by the rules topside. Up here they can't shape this to be whatever they want it to be.
So you say they're fighting over him, and you also say there's an arena. Are they fighting over him with the arena?
They're not actually fighting over him per se. They, from what I know about the arenas, at least where we come from, see, patrons gather teams, and the teams fight each other.
Mm-hmm.
But then whoever's team comes out on top usually wins the prize.
So he's the prize, and their teams are fighting for him.
Something like that, yeah. He kind of
Do
scratches his
they
head.
accept new teams?
Oh, I mean, I suppose you could throw your hat in, but you'd have to find yourself a patron.
Okay.
Mm.
Do you have any idea on who would be willing to do something like that?
There's not many sympathetic to Robert's cause in the Brass City, you understand?
Yeah.
And even fewer that would be willing to publicly free him. Or even privately free him, for that matter. He's an enemy of the state down here.
But
What about those who really hate those count a murder and something a fear?
No matter where you go, there's always someone who's, the rich always get richer, and
He kind of holds up his hand and says, "Oh no, don't get me wrong. They definitely some enemies to terror and murder in the city. Problem is, you've got to pick the least evil of them. Now, only the most evil of them are ballsy enough to put up any kind of fight against the two. Cain and Mephistopheles been running things a long time down here.
well, then I think we know what we gotta do, right? Go there.
Vic just looks at Faye. He's like, "What? What do we do?"
We're gonna go there, and we're gonna find somebody to sponsor us, and we're gonna fight, and then we'll get him back. Right?
That sounds like a terrible plan. Let's do it.
So I think that all we need is some names. Just tell us some of the biggest, baddest guys you think will take us.
Well, you're not just gonna need names. See, the gladiator teams usually come in 6 or 10. But the fight's happening over Mormisk. A 5-team fights.
Like 5 teams all fighting at the same time.
Teams of 5 things. People, animals, whatever the Lord's put together.
Well, I mean, we got another friend, and we got some animal friends too.
Yeah, I think we have 5 total. Assuming Raven Lady's willing to participate.
Well, if you think you've got it, fine. Well, there's a couple.
Lay 'em on me. I'm all ears.
The first one is probably the one you want to avoid, but she's the most likely to get you involved in the arenas. Her name's Ingaska.
Agaska?
Ingaska.
Ingaska.
She's a void dragon.
Ooh.
One of the worst, blackest souls I've ever met. Now, the second most likely, Pluga. You can't miss him. He's a big fucking frog rides around on what do you call them things that's carried by slaves? Anyway, it's one of them. And it's got a giant water kettle on it. And he sits in this thing and rides around the city. got an army of slide behind him, completely motivated by greed. He's the more likely of the two to actually let you in.
What is Plugar?
What?
What? No, like what did you say he was?
He looks like a big frog.
Okay.
Big Daddy Claude.
Anyway, Pluger would probably be your best bet for getting in for the right price. And he rubs his fingers together. He said, but he's also the hardest to get to, I'd say.
What makes you say that?
I reiterate for the one that's hard of hearing. Army of Sluds.
Oh. Okay.
And he just kind of shakes his head. It is. You might take your luck with a couple of the minor evils. Some of them aren't even worth naming. But if they could scrape it together, you might be able to make something work. But you'd have almost no support. It would depend on exactly how hungry the lesser is.
What was that last part?
Sorry. I said you'd have to take a gamble on how hungry the will of the lesser is. I would have said it again in character, but my freaking throat is raw.
Yeah, it's fine.
Excuse me. Never had to do that voice for an extended period of time. Damn it.
And what did he say about Ingaska? And like, just like what motivates her or anything? Or
He didn't say anything about what motivates her. He just said that she was probably the blackest soul that he'd ever seen. And that she was a void dragon.
okay.
She sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. So cool she frees your frickin' bones.
Ooh. Well, it's better than all this heat.
It's true.
Just face palms.
Each their own, I guess.
Well, I just want to say you've been really helpful, and I really appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. Though I suppose we'll probably never see you again, depending on what you do with this information. But if you can bring Robert back here so he can re-empower the stone, that would be grand. At the very least, ask him how we get out of this demon-infested fucking hellhole.
Well, you're not in the hell hole. The hell hole is over there.
I will hit you, I swear to every Jotun god.
He already did it with a knife.
Oh, Lord. Okay. So, what are you gonna do with this newfound information?
We're gonna storm the Brass City and go find somebody to be our sponsor.
Well,
I'm going to suggest we hang around here for at least a bit and just see what we can if we can find out anything else about these potential patrons. Anything that might help us get them to agree.
Well, you know that Ruga is completely motivated by greed. The trick is getting to him. And he's probably the one that's most likely to help you for the right price.
How do you spell his name?
Prooga.
Okay, Pruga.
Mm-hmm.
But a void dragon just sounds so cool.
Yep.
Yeah, but dragons are kind of assholes.
Think of a void dragon as a sentient black hole.
That just makes it extra cool.
God damn it. You're gonna have to do some morally questionable shit if you want to get on her team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like all of this is morally questionable anyway. We're teaming up with D.
No, like I'm moving your alignment slider to evil shit.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna favor Pruga.
If we can
So-
get to him.
Yeah.
I know that this is kind of time sensitive, and we gotta do what we gotta do to get to the guy.
Time sensitive.
I mean, somebody's gonna be fighting, and the fight starts whether or not we're there.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
Does Grogan know when these fights will happen, or is it ongoing?
They haven't started yet, but they'll be starting soon. The whole thing was put off by whatever's got the whole city in an uproar and celebrating. Not real sure what that is.
We should probably find out something about that too.
Yeah.
Might be smart.
I'm very smart. If there's one thing you should know about me, it's that I'm full of good ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Most of the time. They usually end up okay.
by
You're
sheer
full of
coincidence.
good ideas. You're also just full to bursting with bad ideas.
But when you have as many ideas as I have, some of them are bound to be duds.
Something just occurred to me. You might seek out Horvath. He's a lesser evil. But he's looking to move up the ladder. Might be worth checking out. Again,
Good.
if you can get to him.
Where is he? Well, is he also in the Brass City? Or-
Oh yeah, he's in the Brass City, alright. But him and his fire giants are in charge of going out to the slag pits and collecting material to feed the machine.
The machine.
Yeah, the machine.
Which machine's that?
I heard you. I was just wondering what is the machine?
Yeah. The machine's what keeps the power going in the city. It takes those and strips them of everything that they once was. Tears them down to their most primal instincts, and then they go to the pit to face their punishment.
Maybe we should do something about that.
I mean, they kind of deserve it, right? This is hell. I mean, no offense, but
But you think somebody would deserve all of that? everybody down here?
The machine was Titan built. There's no way you turn it down.
Hmm.
It's fair.
We'll see.
We say you get chewed up then. Of course, if you pick the wrong patron, you're gonna go through the machine anyway.
Wait, what?
Oh, you heard me, Tiny. You go about this the wrong way, you let a slip of the tongue get you in a situation that you just can't cash. Well, they're gonna feed you to the grinder.
I don't sound so upset about it.
It's just a fact of life down here. It is what it is.
I better be getting paid whenever we get back up there. Back to the surface. This had better all be worth it if that's what's at stake, because I don't think I could take it. How about we just agree to not let Ron do the talking? I feel like
What?
we're significantly
Come on.
here.
You definitely want me as the party.
I feel like we've just generally agreed that that's a bad idea, just in all scenarios. So Horvath, you said he's sort of looking to move up the ladder. What does that entail?
Well, he's either got a... hell's politics is a little weird. You can either take a seat of a primeval by defeating him in combat, but you have to do that directly, or you can sort of unseat him by popular vote, which usually involves a bloody revolution.
I see.
Bloody Demon Revolution sounds kind of good, actually.
So I imagine Horvath would be favoring the latter.
Well, yeah, I'd say. But see, Horvath's got to get enough people on his side that reside within the courts of one or the other. And then he's got to get them all whipped up. Now, this would probably be easier if he wasn't a slagholer.
I see.
If you go with Horvath, you've got a high likelihood of surviving. At least until you start making waves. But the thing is, them waves you make gotta be big enough to sweep up some of the population. Because if you don't, well, you'll be chumming the waters under the machine. For sure.
I mean, we are pretty good at causing chaos.
But you gotta cause the right chaos. That's the thing, there's nobody listen.
What was the last part he said?
Does nobody listen?
Oh, it does know this. Yeah. It's just hard to make out what he's saying with his accent.
Then I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we're capable of targeted chaos, as it were. So, Ingaska's motivation seems to be more likely to be just evil. Pruga's is greed, and then Horvath's is...
Anguska's all about long-term corruption and excess.
That sounds unpleasant.
She's the kind of thing that would infest the children of a town just by planting a seed and letting them rot for lifetimes, spreading it through the generations. That's the kind of person Anguska is.
Yeah, let's not go with her.
Agreed. It would just look at Faye.
Cause real trouble topside if Anguska took power. See, this is the importance of asking questions, kids.
Can't just go with what seems the coolest, huh?
Also, dragons will always fuck you.
I wish. Just kidding.
Wow, that went to a strange place quickly. Well,
All right.
That was an Iran joke right there.
right? Straight Iran joke.
Been hanging around Iran too long.
Something.
All right. So either Pruga or Horvath.
I'm just
Ruger or
saying if it
Horvath?
really comes down to it, and we have no other way, what's more important? Getting Robert or avoiding working with her?
I mean, we have
Avoiding
ways
working with her.
Yeah, I was like, we have ways to avoid working with. We have other options.
Yeah.
I'm saying that if the other
She wants
options
her.
don't work,
She wants him for something, so even if she does win him somehow, we still have a chance to get him from her.
Yeah. So, what might so basically, Grogan said Pruga's motivated by greed, but it's hard to get to him because he basically has a slot army working for him. What I'll ask him what he, how we might be able to kind of get to him.
He wants to move up in power, right?
Yeah.
So if we offer that, then
Yeah, he wants more power, but like I said, greed and gluttony's his thing. Find something that he wants. Get it before he does. Then offer it to him.
I feel like that is that's something we're capable of as well.
Yeah. You got a roguish look about you. You can probably figure something out.
Thank you. Anyone, anyone around here we should, or rather, anyone else around here we should speak to maybe learn more about what he might be interested in.
There's not really anybody here that's gonna have any information that does you any good. But maybe you might be able to cobble together something that makes you look like traders. Lot more traders coming in from topside recently, especially the last couple of weeks. Like somebody opened a door, bridged a gap.
That would make sense if they're celebrating.
Well, anyway, you gotta get into the city, and to get into the city, you gotta make an offering to the guards. And that may be harder than getting in good with with any of the evils. Say, 'cause guards, they change what they want every fucking day. Fickle.
So, you said that they've started to do trade with Toplanders, right?
Yeah.
So, what kind of currency do you people use down here anyway?
You people. What do you mean, you people?
Oh, you're right. Oh, yeah.
Victor
that-
shakes his
I
head
couldn't
at
I couldn't
That
help
came
it.
out
I
really
couldn't
bad.
help it.
You're racist.
What sort of currency do the people that reside here use? Is
Well,
it-
the common currencies are always, well, in fashion, so to speak. Well, what brings the highest price is slaves and souls.
Okay.
Don't think we have any of those.
But
I mean, we have souls, but we don't really want to part with them.
That's true.
we have people that can pretend to be slaves, right? And we can just take them back with us?
Hmm?
We could get Comet to whip up some magic animal slaves.
They don't care about animals as such.
So what's the value of like one slave?
Well, it depends on what you're comparing it against.
What if it's like a really nice slave? You think that's enough to get us in? Or
Well, it
get us
depends
to
on what
people?
kind of slave it is.
What is that? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if one of us had to pretend to be a slave, we're pretty nice.
Well,
Got it.
they're demons. They got a taste for the holy. They like to try and corrupt them.
Okay. I'm not very holy. I mean, I would have volunteered, but I don't think that would be what they would. Do we have anybody?
I don't like
No,
Hmm.
line of conversation.
not professionally, like born holy, like ASMR.
I don't think we have any of those.
Or
Yeah.
Not even
demigods.
to like borrow for a little bit.
Does it look like we have any ASMR here in hell? And he kind of gestures around him to all of the griblins and the drow and all of that.
Okay, I was just kind of, just trying to see what all of our options are.
Do you have like paint and some sticks and feathers, maybe?
God damn it.
Vic just face palms.
Oh.
I don't think that's gonna work. And I don't think they'd be happy about us trying to pull one over on them so poorly.
Well,
Absolutely,
you won't
sir.
know until they try.
I
Gotta know.
mean, well, anyway, you're welcome to stay here in this city until you get it figured out.
Thank you. It's very kind of you.
I'm sorry about the you people comment. I really do feel bad about it. I didn't mean for it to come out that way.
And the road to this place is paved with good intentions, too. And he turns around and walks off.
Nice.
Oh, it feels really bad.
Guys, I hate to say this, but I have just about run my voice out of commission. And I don't know if I can keep on with this.
No, I can hear that.
Yeah, we should probably talk to someone else.
The fucking shitload of dialogue. Whew. Definitely had to send Grogan somewhere else. Yeah. Oh, alright, so you guys have a lot of information to process. What are you going to do?
Well,
We could always call it here and just think about our options.
I mean, if that's
I'll
what you
just
guys want to
call
do,
it
I'm alright
here
with
and
that.
Go back to the material plane.
we just
Just
give up,
leave
go
Liza
home.
here and let her figure her own shit out.
Yeah, just.
This is already going way
I mean, there's
better
no
than we
pieces of
thought it
Baron
was.
off down here.
Are you sure about that?
Pretty sure.
Oh, not really.
But yeah, I think we should, try and well, so to figure out what Horvath or sorry, what Pruga would want, or even the Horvath, probably need to get into the Brass City. And then to get into the Brass City, we need to figure out what the guards want, or at least have something we can essentially bribe the guards with.
Mm-hmm.
This entire trip has basically just been buying and bribing our way through everything.
Yeah.
You've got the money for it. I don't know what you're bitching about.
Yeah. Looking around, do I see Liza? Since I didn't see her earlier.
Give me another perception check.
Okay, 20.
20. So, you do actually see her in her raven form. Just a scant moment before she flaps up off of the pillar and heads toward a dilapidated building on the other side of the area that you're in. It's not. It's like a rhombus. I was gonna say a square, but it's not because it's all fucked up. It's a rhombus.
Yeah. So can I kind of signal her to come down here so we can talk?
No, you can't. I mean, you can try, but she's not gonna.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I do like try and gesture her to come down, so we can talk. But
No,
she
she
just
flew
looks at me.
directly away from you
Okay.
after you locked eyes with her.
Can I send Craig to fly after?
Craig is still roasted and perched precariously on your shoulder.
All right, just wait to send him a new one.
Oh Lord.
All right. Well, yeah. I guess. I guess I'm going to suggest we probably try and figure out what we can offer these guards. Maybe talk to some people, see what they usually take as offerings. If they're still interested in slaves and souls, or if there's something else we might be able to offer them that's more reasonable.
All right. Fair enough. Go ahead and do perception roll just to see if you can pick out anybody that's maybe not necessarily on a mission walking through the city.
21.
All right. So with a 21, you spot a middle-aged looking gnome. He's dressed in green robes. There's a hood up, and he's kind of doing that gnome shuffle thing where the feet move really fast, but they don't. And he's just kind of moving along the street at what most would consider a normal walking pace. But he doesn't appear to be heading anywhere in particular.
Okay.
That seems like your most likely option of actually getting somebody to talk to you.
Okay. And I'll try and flag him down.
You flag him down?
Yeah.
Like with an actual flag on a stick, or?
No. Just
Okay.
to try and get his attention. Yeah, call him over.
All right, so you call out to him and,
Hey, what? What do you want?
Well, it's our first time passing through here, and we're hoping to get into the Brass City, but not really sure. We've heard they might want something from us.
Well, I mean, if you're looking to get into the Brass City, all you have to do is stand still long enough on the road. They'll get you right into the Brass City. It's the fact of whether or not you'll come out.
I love this guy already. Favorite NPC.
Excellent.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping we can get there, not in chains, being led by thee.
Oh, well, in that case, then you're gonna need a bribe. And it kind of changes day to day. Sometimes they want food, sometimes they want gems, sometimes they want coins, sometimes they want wood, sometimes they want weapons, sometimes they want armor. It just depends. It depends on the guard, depends on the day.
Wow, that's convenient.
Oh yeah. Do we have any of the food we had from the top side, or did we sell all of that?
I don't know. I think we sold all of it. Not sure.
Why the fuck would you sell all of your food? It seems like a really poor adventuring choice.
Well, no, we needed to do that to get our ship.
What?
I mean, he's got a point. You can't eat a ship.
You've never done this before, have you?
Not
What?
really.
Come to hell?
Yeah.
No.
And
First time here.
Huh. Well, you're shit out of luck here, because dead souls don't eat.
yeah, I figured.
Well, I suppose you could just hope you're lucky enough to get catch a coin day, so to speak.
I suppose that's true.
Or gems, or hell, one of them would probably take your ship.
You
I feel like
don't
that would be.
say.
I feel like that would be a problem for us, in leaving afterwards.
Well, who said you're actually gonna make it out?
Well, just planning ahead, just in case.
Well, contingencies are good and all, but, eventualities are eventualities.
All right. Well, thanks for the help.
Yep.
Wait, I don't want to leave this guy yet. I can't think of
Mhm.
Faye just grabs him and doesn't let him go.
Wait, you can't go yet.
Uh,
Say some more things.
he kind
Let me
of
guess. You're an
looks at
orphan.
he kind of looks at you, Vic, and says,
what exactly is happening here?
I don't know. Faye, please let go of the nice man.
But he's so interesting.
Faye, we agreed we weren't adopting anyone this trip.
Okay. She lets go.
he kind of huffily straightens his lapels and
Says, well, this has been interesting. Yeah. See ya if you ever make it back. Which is unlikely.
Well, honestly, I haven't expected us. I'm surprised we made it this far.
So am I.
All right. Vic just waves. He's like, all right, see ya.
Bye.
Oh.
I inadvertently made that gnome a real dickhole. Sorry about that.
It says something. The dickholes are our favorite characters.
I guess. I guess. Oh. Alright. So
Wait,
now
what-
you
what was
know.
the gnome's name? Did
You
we ever
didn't-
get the gnome's name?
You didn't get a name and he's gone.
Shit!
I
No,
purposely didn't ask his name.
now I can never find him again.
Unless we scry on him.
Oh, God.
Unless I put a hunter's mark on him while his back is turned.
Gnomey McGnome Pants.
We're taking a break from the adventure to just stalk a gnome.
Jesus Christ. Alright, okay. Alright. That's about all my voice box has in me tonight. You guys have found what you need to get in to the gates, hopefully. And you know who you need to seek out. You know that you need to gather information once you're inside the city. And you know where your ultimate goal lies. I would call this session a success for you.
Success.
Yay.
That is all I have in me for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for all of the raids that we got. I appreciate it. I love every bit of them. We hope to see you guys back next week. We will play the same time, same place, at 11 p.m. Central Time. I started to say Central 11 time. 11 p.m. Central Time, same channel, every Wednesday. You can also find the archive campaigns on YouTube, and Vic will get the link wall up here in just a second. We also have the audio archives on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and iTunes. And I think that's all of them, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. There's the link wall. Yes, look us up on Twitter at Planeslip Pod. Or I'm sorry, that's Facebook.
Yep. Twitter
Planes-
_EOC.
Planeslip_EOC. Anyway, we also have shirts for the show, shirts for the channel. You can find those links down below. We have a Discord. Feel free to jump in, talk to us if you have any questions about the campaign or D&D in general or anything for that matter. We'll always be happy to have a chat. Other than that, I can't really think of anything else. So until next week, you guys keep playing what you love, and we'll see you next time. We love you.
Bye.